Do I have to crash my car into your house? Oh, tell me how to get your full attention now. Oh, do I have to crash my car into your house? Oh, do I have to crash down bad, baby, tell me.
Welcome back to Out Loud, everyone. And now I am joined by a very special guest. We have with us today the one and only Jay Hart. New music coming out. Post music is phenomenal. It's Pride.
Thank you.
And it's a great time to have you here. So welcome to Out Loud.
Great to be here. Thank you so much for having me.
So first and foremost, new song Us is coming out on June 28th, I believe is the date.
That's right.
And it hasn't been too long, but it's been a bit of time for you. You've had some space between the last EP and this song. Tell us a bit about it. I mean, soulfully, I don't think you've ever sounded better.
Thank you.
So good. But tell us a bit about what it's all about, where it came from. And I know that it was a while since you wrote this. So how that getting onto it has been.
Yes. So I wrote this song in 2020 in the middle of the pandemic, or I think it was in the beginning of the pandemic, actually. And we were in another important year, and I held on to this song and kind of had this feeling of like, oh, I should probably put it out soon because it's not going to have the same meaning and the same sort of cultural weight. And yet here we are in an election year, and the song still feels very relevant and sort of feels like it describes the way that I feel. And having someone to be your support system through these trying times and confusing times is so important. And some of us just need a good old-fashioned love song. And so I love this song so much, and I'm happy that it's coming out right now, actually.
I think it's a good time for it to be coming out. I think that and not just the United States or Europe, I mean, even here in Canada, we have things happening, and especially for our community, and this being Pride Month, I think sometimes the rest of the world forgets, or maybe they don't even care, but they just don't recognize just how important it is to have those moments of understanding and knowing that somebody's out there and going through the same thing or thinking what you're thinking. Because from a marginalized perspective, you're essentially giving a lot of people who are out there a moment to kind of just sit and feel a part of something, where there's so much in the world that wants to say, we don't want you to be a part of this.
Yes. Yes. I mean, even the title, sort of on a more of a macro scale. Obviously, the song is a love song, but the meaning of it obviously extends beyond that. And so I appreciate you for noticing that.
Well, I think that, when you think about love songs, they're always interpretive to your own type of love, or in this case, more community love, and world love. It's never lost on us, I think. I mean, yeah, we all have heartbreak, and yeah, we all sit, in the field position with our satin pillow crying, and, wishing things went different. But, there's so many people in the world who don't experience community love. To get it through music is so important. And there's a lot of artists who are doing a lot of work right now. And this is one of them. And I think coming especially coming out at the end of June is really important, because everything gets front loaded for Pride. And you're saying, coming at the end and being like, no, like, we're not done. Let's talk about this more. To me, that's how I receive it.
Yes, very much so.
So I'm happy for that. Now, the last EP had lots of moving and grooving and dance. This is soul. There's gospel moments in this. There's blues moments in this, and there's just the space for your voice to just get out and really just kind of open up. And having those, the past, kind of dancier kind of songs, or that poppy electro pop, and moving into this. Do you find a change in yourself, and do you kind of lean into this more? And do you get into this and kind of go, because there is a real weird juxtaposition between, you know, being part of the LGBT community and then creating soulful music. And I think that there's a real interesting kind of take on it. But I'm wondering from you as an artist, like how you move into those lanes.
Yeah, it's so funny because it kind of feels like a return to form in some ways, and it also feels like, and I'll explain why. It also feels like a repurposing of energy. I grew up in church. I was on praise team in my church in Atlanta. And so it's funny, as a songwriter, I often use religious concepts as a way to sort of repurpose a lot of that stored energy. And like I wrote a song called Angel Baby for Troye Sivan, and it's almost like repurposing something that was inherently that sort of made me feel not so great, and putting it this queer spin on it and making it about queer love. And so almost like leaning into the gospel, leaning into the soul, even as a vocalist, because I mean, it just scratches that itch of just me being able to sing. Like I can really sing on these songs. But leaning into that kind of feeling, it feels like a return to form, and it also feels like transforming that sort of energy, that like negative energy that I feel sort of left over from the church, if that makes sense.
Absolutely. And I think that, you know, and I mentioned before we started recording about how your piece that you put out on Instagram about Happy Pride, and talking about, you know, meeting you for the first time, you know, this is the person that you could have met. And I think that there's a lot, especially male youths too, really experience a lot of that, where you're in, whether it's a community or in a family that is heavily attached to religion. There's a real push and pull, because being people at our core, we can see what people take from religion, and you know, this the feelings of safety and comfort at times, but then it's mixed and marred with things that say, but you can't be a part of it if you're not fitting into these lines. So I think that, you know, especially youth that are out there and listening to this and listening to you, I think it must be very, I think, effective for them and very comforting for them, and must help them feel a part of something. I'm curious, do you ever get, like, do you get a lot of youth that reach out to you to talk to you about that?
About religion specifically?
Just about how maybe it helps them through it.
Yeah, I do get a lot of well, I wouldn't say a lot, but I get a fair amount of DMs from people just saying like, "Hey, I felt something in your music that felt familiar to me and reached me." And actually, I have a lot of my messages like screenshotted and put into like a folder that on my phone that I call my like glow folder, and I will just scroll through it. Like if I have a meeting or something that I'm going to that I need to kind of feel confident for, I'll kind of just scroll through it right before I walk in the door. And I just yeah, I find those messages incredibly impactful because music has had the same effect on me. It's given me a home, it's given me a community. So to be able to give back in any way like that, it just yeah, it means a lot.
It's I think it's important to have artists like you out there. With
Yeah.
that said, and a new song coming out, and it being Pride, you are someone who loves the visuals, and
Love.
I'm assuming, I shouldn't assume, but there's a really nice image for the song that you have already put out. So I'm assuming that there's probably going to be some visuals that come with this. Are they coming at the same time, or will there be a little bit of a delay? Song first, then maybe visuals?
You know, it's interesting because we have shot quite a few things because obviously in today's day and age, content is currency. So um, we've shot a few different things that'll be coming up leading up to the song that'll be coming out, and then also a couple things after as well. And then I also kind of have a plan for even a month or two down the road. I don't want to share too much because yeah, it'll be a fun surprise. But yes, I definitely shot. I can't not shoot visuals. I love a look. I love like, you know, I love the whole thing. I just love it.
You don't like to make assumptions, but based on your history and your background, if you just go to your YouTube channel, you know that you like, and you're good at it. Like that's the thing.
Thanks.
Somebody who's, and I don't know, hopefully this is a compliment to you, but somebody who else is doing a lot with their visuals and who really takes, you know, their time with it and does a lot with it is Sam Williams. And I love that this, you know, being able to upend things on their head, being yourself, putting it out there. And I mean, I grew up, I'm a kid of the 80s, right? And so music video for me was everything. So did not having music videos that represented me in the day, but then having artists like you creating visuals that I can see how much I would have, you know, went crazy for when I was a kid. Is a little bit like taking me home. It's a little bit like bringing me back to my teen years again and having me
I love
relive
that.
and re-experience it. I don't know if anybody's ever told you that, but it really is.
I haven't heard the Sam Williams comparison, but that I mean is amazing, and I really appreciate you saying that. And it's the same for me. Like I get to create something that I would have loved to watch, and that's honestly so much of the reason I enjoy doing it and take so much pride in like working on the visual part of it, because I'm such a music video like nerd. I'm such a music video slut. I like love visuals. I love the stories that we tell through visuals. And as a songwriter for others, I don't get to explore that. So as a part of my artistry, that's why it's so important for my artistry, is because it's like the missing piece that I don't get to, you know. I was a theater kid at heart, so it's fun to sort of play and be a child and do the visuals. And it's fun to feel like, okay, I have good taste as well. I feel like that's so much of being an artist, is like you're a tastemaker. So to be able to be like, I'm doing the outfits, I'm doing the visuals. Yeah, I just love it.
I agree. And I think that it shows in your work that you enjoy what you do, you have fun with it. And I think it comes across. It never feels like you're creating for the sake of just what you want to look like. You're having fun with it. You're playing in a different world and getting a chance to kind of express who you are. And I mean, that's what music video is all about, right? I mean, other than some others use it for different things, that's fine. On that
Yeah,
road.
no judgment.
So, new song coming out, new visuals. What's the rest of the year looking like for you?
Well, I have obviously a lot of different projects that I'm working on, but in terms of my artistry, I'm going to keep releasing kind of song by song for the moment until I released a body of work at the end of last year. I released my first like full length EP, and it was such a labor of love in sort of like making it cohesive and telling a story. And so it really took a lot out of me, but it was like a beautiful experience. And so I think for the time being, I'm going to release song by song until I feel like I have another cohesive story to tell again. And I think I'll know when the time is for that. But for the moment, I'm gonna keep releasing song by song. I'm gonna do a couple shows. I have a couple shows coming up, which as soon as I have the dates and locations nailed down, they'll be posted on my socials and stuff. But I'm really excited about the live portion of it, because again, it's like another way to have fun. And I love live arrangements of music too. They're like, I'm just obsessed with live arrangements. So I'm kind of building out the live arrangements for the show now and sort of figuring out what it's going to look like. And of course, I'm still writing. And there's a couple other fun projects in the works that I can't talk too much about, but yeah, soon enough I'll be able to.
The EP, which was the longing, the wanting, the wishing, the wanting, the longing, that song that you were talking about, which is If There Really Is a God, uh,
Mhm.
talking about live arrangements on YouTube, you do have a live performance of that song, and it really truly captures just how much of an incredible live performer you are. You have a facility within you that actually takes you, I mean, you can get soft, but then you can get high. And you know exactly where it needs to kind of come in and flow through. And it really is a little adventure when you get a chance to kind of experience live from you.
Yeah.
Because it really comes out. It really comes out. And I mean, there are great vocalists out there. And in terms of like male queer vocalists, you know, you think of, I mean, I mentioned Sam Williams more from that kind of stylistic approach and how you approach yourself. But when you think about like in Australia, like an Alfie R. Curry, you know, and even Sam Smith will say, know your facility so well that it's just an extension of you. And I think we are the recipients of luxury when we get a chance to experience that. So for a live performance and the live kind of arrangements, I hope you do keep doing some of those YouTube lives, because for those of us who are not necessarily in an area, it gives us the chance to experience it.
I appreciate that. And it also like it reaches a lot of people. I've noticed that specific live video, like it's the one on socials that kind of went crazy for me. And a lot of these like R&B pages and vocalist pages picked it up and sort of reposted it. And oh, that just made me so excited because I'm a fan of these pages. I'm a fan of singers. I'm a fan of live arrangements, and so yeah, I will definitely do more of that for sure.
I have just a selfish question. Selfish because I'm just curious. As a songwriter, because you have written for lots of people, and you know you've had some Grammy nominations based on some of the work that you've done. Do you ever have those moments where you've written something and you set it free for an artist and you kind of go like, God damn it, I should have kept that.
Yeah. But I think I used to have that feeling more because I think now I've sort of, I don't know, I trust myself more now. And I think that when I release something, I really, really release it. And I sort of understand that, you know, it all comes back to me energetically. I will always write another song. And if I released it now, I released it for good reason. I think a few years ago, there was a lot more questioning and a lot more self-doubt. Don't get me wrong, I'm still quite a perfectionist, but in terms of like knowing what's for me and what's not, it's a lot easier now with age and with just kind of knowing myself more.
And as somebody who's part of, you know, the queer community out there in music, who are you seeing that's like kind of up and coming, that's kind of really catching your eye?
Oh my gosh, wow. Um,
Gotta love the loaded
there's,
questions, right?
I
That
know, I
like
love it.
I
I love
wasn't
it.
prepared.
There's this amazing artist Omar that I've been working with. Omar Rudberg is his last name.
Young
I've
Royals.
Yes, that's right. We are supposed to write together soon, actually. I had a beautiful meeting with him recently, and he's another one that he loves a visual, he loves a look. Obviously, like Chapel is like killing it right now. Um, there's some like cool new sort of R&B queer artists that I'm a big fan of because I write a lot of R&B. Oh my gosh, you know who I absolutely love is Durand Bernard. He is amazing, like vocally incredibly gifted. He's one of the best singers like I have heard in a minute. And the fact that he's so free, like live, the way that he sings, the way that he just emotes queer freedom is like it's beautiful. He's one of my new like real favorites where I'm actually on repeat his song on the Kate Renata record I've been listening to a lot.
It's great when we see you know, artists coming together from the community and collaborating, because, and as I've said to a lot of folks, that we as a community of listeners have to do our part to make sure that we know who our artists are and that we're out there and we're sharing them within the community, because that's the only way that it's really going to happen and really get things moving. The music is out there, and if we're not being supportive, it's it's part of the whole movement, right? It really is.
Yeah, yeah, totally.
So you're in Italy, you have a wedding coming up, and I
I
don't want
do.
to keep you any longer because you need to get to festivities. But I want to thank you so much for joining me and coming in and talking about the new song and everything that you have going on.
Thank you so much for having me. I really appreciate it. I have to write a speech for the wedding tomorrow night, and it's been sprung on me last minute, so I'll be working on that for the rest of the day, I think.
Always writing. So The new song by J Hart is Us. It is going to be out on June 28th. Mark your calendars, do your pre-saves, get to all the socials, like all of the posts, do all of the things. And I can't wait to see what comes next. I've already heard the song and I know that it's phenomenal and everybody else is going to love it as well. So thank you
so much. Such a pleasure. Thank you so much for having me.